Hi, I'm Manal Chestnut, and today I'd like to tell you about the Republican City Cemetery. It's not a very well-known location, but it is full of history. The cemetery is located about 4 miles southwest of Clay Center, Kansas, off a gravel road. You'll notice on the upper right-hand corner the little yellow pushpin that marks the location of the cemetery. If you look at the bottom of the map towards the center, you will also see another yellow pushpin, which marks the quarter section that Joseph Chestnut purchased, but we'll get to that later. This cemetery is significant to me because I'm related to about half of the people buried there. 5 generations of Chestnuts, which are my dad's family, either are or will be buried there. Not many families can say that 5 generations of one family are buried within 100 feet of each other. The Republican City Cemetery was part of the Republican City town. This used to be a thriving community in the 1800s, but now it is completely non-existent. This memorial is located about a mile away from the cemetery and is all that remains of the community. Records of the cemetery are kept on the official plot map, which is kept by my grandfather, Bruce Chestnut. This map shows who's claimed each plot and, in some cases, who is buried where. These were my great-grandparents. James Chestnut and his wife Jane immigrated from Ireland to the United States in 1856 and moved to Clay County, Kansas in 1880. Their headstone is made from lead. This is why there is very little weathering, and all the inscriptions, including this quote, are easily legible, even though they died over 100 years ago. My great-great-grandparents, Joseph Wallace Chestnut and his wife Rosetta Borland, are buried here, in this plot. With his brother John, Joseph bought a quarter section of land and they farmed together for several years. Eventually, Joseph bought out John's section or share of the farm. Today, my uncle lives on that section and my father and uncle still farm it together. This is Joseph's headstone, and this is Rosetta's headstone. Rosetta's parents are also buried near her and John's headstones. They would be my great-great-great-grandparents. This is the headstone of my great-grandparents, William Borland and Martha Chestnut. Granddad graduated from high school when he was just 16 years old and taught in a one-room schoolhouse for several years. He also spent most of his life farming. He lived in the house that my uncle lives in now, which is on the quarter section of land that his father bought years before. My grandparents, Bruce and Lavone Chestnut, and my parents, James and Sally Chestnut, who are all still living, also have plots in the cemetery. Recently, we found out that one of my mom's relatives, Herman Boyle, is also buried in the Republican City Cemetery. This is a rather interesting historical tidbit because my mom is not from the Clay Center area. Instead, she's from Neodesha, Kansas. For some, this cemetery looks a lot like just another country cemetery. However, it has a lot of significance to me, my family's history, and to my own story. Therefore, it is a place that shouldn't be forgotten.